2009 R1. Generally what we're gonna need, basic stuff, wrenches, ratchets, sockets, all metric. We're gonna need some few of these hexes and the stars. Of course, we're gonna need a micrometer as well as our feeler tool and shims. We've got to measure the shims and micrometer. What we're gonna do, simply gonna take off 1, 2, and 3. This isn't like oil where it's gonna pop out. It's gonna go very slow. Remove some plastics up top and remove the filler cap. So here, just a couple more of these 1-clicks. That one's rusty, need to get a new one. All 4 of these are gonna come out. On the R1, it simply pops up. Don't want to break that tab, so pop it up from the back. Pull this back, and this piece comes right out as well. One tool I didn't mention is a clip remover. If you have the type of clips that need it, especially, you're definitely gonna want one of these. So we're gonna take these clips off. I'm simply gonna lean it as much as I can, get as much of the coolant out as possible. Alright, let's get the bike on the stand. Drain plug for the coolant is in. And what we're simply gonna do here is remove our seats. Remove that front little bowl. I try to keep some sort of organization in the magnet tray, so I put that right up front just to spend less time guessing which bolt is for what. The front seat with the bolts out simply comes out at the time. So off the double-sided tape, these simply slide forward, take out the toolkit, and we'll need a specific tool in there in a minute. Next, we're just gonna do these bolts right here, and that will let the gas tank come up. And get all of these to fuel line. Now the fuel line, just in case anyone's never done it, you unlock it by bringing that up. Then you pinch the sides, bring the flathead inside, and pull this tab right here back, and the clip will come right out. As you'll notice, unlike a car airbox, very complex in here. Typically, your airbox in a superbike will have a screw right in the middle, and there'll just be a hole. So just one of these will typically be in the middle. Mine actually doesn't have one, but I thought I'd put that out there because most bikes actually do have one. Obviously, we got our K&N performance filter because we like horsepower. It actually comes apart by hand. You simply snap it out right there. There's 2 snaps, then there's 3 snaps. Take the top part out right there. Next we have the controller, and that pops right out. So now these are free. But the rails are part of these guys here. Now these, the intake tunnels right here, are exactly what hold the airbox in. Right in here where there's slits, and right here there should be a hole. That gives you access to what holds these down. So there's Allens down there. You can honestly barely see them, if at all. And they stay down there. And there's 3. So there's 1, 2, and 3 per set of 2 right here. And the trick of taking off a Allen with a long one like this, if you don't have, leverage tool, you simply put a wrench over it like so, and then you get leverage. And that's how we loosen them. I'm gonna fold this tab in like that, and we're gonna pull in the box. As we do that, there we go. So just little tabs in the tension. Right here, there's two hoses. I already took pliers, moved the clamp down, so they're airbox hoses. They pretty much just pull right off. This one might need a flathead, so we'll get that in a sec. But generally, the airbox is free to come out. Now, of course, there is an electrical connection to the bottom half of this airbox. Let me get that freed up a little bit. Alright, simple connector right there. That's the airbox. It is out. We're gonna be removing this remainder of air inlet system here, and we're gonna need to take these plastics off in order to do that. And then we're gonna remove the throttle body. Of course, we got the rubber parts here, which kind of just come out. Just kind of wrestle them out. Get it over the tab. All right. So with that out, we need these two bolts removed as well. We're going to take these out so we can take the rubbers out and take this out up here as it's over the head. We need to get around this like that. So one would go over, one would go under the red part, and then we lift it out like so. It'll be easier if I pull the side out instead, or at least first. And that nipple is holding it down. Alright, so I'm gonna wrestle the other rubber out, and we'll simply pop it up once the rubber is out of the way, and that'll get this airbox piece. Now next, of course, on the throttle body, we have a bunch of clips, so we're gonna remove those. We're gonna need to remove the cables, so I'm simply gonna take 10 mil right there, loosen that. Probably should have done this the whole time, but there's some lighting. So we're gonna loose that, and same thing with the other cable. All right, so just your standard cable. I'm gonna need my other hand real quick. We're gonna pull that out the side, and then the one on the bottom. I did remember that the bottom cable actually comes out way easier once the throttle body is actually out of the bike, so we'll get to that in a bit. Next thing I want to do is disconnect my fuel injectors. They're not that easy to see, but these gray plugs right here are gonna be it. And we're also disconnecting another fuel line, which is right here, so we can take the throttle body out. Difficulty removing the lines. There we go. Alright, a little bit of gas. Try to get that elevated. I usually just zip tie it up here. To remove the throttle body, we have these Allens down here. They're very short rubber boots, and they're accessible from the side. So we're going in here. We're gonna loosen them. You guys don't have to take the bolt out. You can simply back and forth and wrestle out our throttle body. Of course, like I said, there's the cable. The cable's out. There's one plug over here. Alright. So that's the throttle body. Now, the safety of the motor, I'm gonna go grab some paper towels and I'm gonna stuff it closed so no dust or anything that can scratch my cylinder walls with the piston rings, nothing falls down there. And disconnect everything we see, starting with our ignition coils. Any wires don't need to be in the way, we'll put them out the way. Alright, ignition coils disconnected, and wherever this goes to, if you twist and pull, that's how you get your ignition coils out. I'll get some pliers. I'm going to take these clamps off. Ignition coils are out, clamps are off, but these I believe pretty long metal wise. Oh no, we're fine. I mean, if it's just air in that system, they usually come off pretty easy. Alright, and there's that difficult to reach clip. We take the cables out. It's just a zip tie for this wire, so we're going to cut that real quick. So we can take this, just loosen the wire out. We're going to simply take these Allens right here, they're Allen nuts. So I have to take the camera up. The other thing is we can't damage our gasket because I didn't buy a new one. It's a good idea to buy a new one, but you don't have to. Look at that, came right off. Give that another pinch right here. Turn it here. Let me see if I can't detach these so it doesn't look like I'll be able to get the valve cover off with those on there. This fat wire is just right here. They're big clips, but we're gonna pull these out, undo this reusable zip tie here, and the other wire, I believe, yep, right here, got the clip for that too. So we're going to be able to remove all the lines and the top line right here. I detached one fan and the fan doesn't want to come out. So I'm not going to take the radiator off, but I'm going to loosen. Boom. Alright. I think our gasket is still intact. Alright, so we gotta turn the motor, and be able to turn it over, so we can measure all of our valves. So we simply have a cover here, and what we have is our crank right here. So I'm gonna grab a 14 mil and a decently sized ratchet so I can crank this over. What we're simply doing is measuring the distance between this lobe and that bucket underneath it, and basically we're gonna put the feeler tool in there. So it's just a thin but carefully measured slithered flat tab of metal. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that 14 mil over on the side, like I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to turn the motor as I'm measuring these. So these lobes will go down, but these will come up, and I can measure the other valves. I'm going to get a piece of paper to write down exactly what my gaps are for just very, very close approximate. And